Morning everybody, I'm John Cook here from John Cook Harmonicas. I wanted to spend a little bit of time explaining the process of reed plate profiling, RPP harps that I make. I discussed it briefly at the Harping by the Sea Festival at the weekend, and it did raise a few questions, so I thought I'd spend a little time to explain what it was. Obviously the principles of embossing are most of you will know what that is. Basically there's a gap between the reed and the reed plate slot to allow the reed to oscillate in the gap. And this gap sometimes between the reed and the slot is a little bit too large, so customizers and repairers use various tools, ball bearings and embossing tools, and deform this edge here, the top edge down, creates a sort of a burr, and that closes the gap on the reed. The problem with that, not that it's a problem, but my concern is that the manufacturers spend a lot of time trying to keep this edge of the reed slot, this edge very sharp. When they make a reed plate, the process of stamping it out rolls the top edge, so they turn the reed plate over and mount the reed on the underneath, which is a lot sharper edge, so they maintain this edge because the sharper the edge, the better the response of the reed. And then repairers and customizers come along, not myself, and we deform that edge and we roll the edge, so we sort of negate what the manufacturers have tried to do, and we roll that edge. So I've been sort of struggling with the embossing process, the traditional way, for quite a while, and I came up with a new way of doing it that maintains this edge, and I call it reed plate profiling, because we are profiling the reed plate itself, the edge of it, and we're reprofiling the edge to not only to emboss and move the material closer to the reed, but also to maintain that sharp edge. And this is how I go about doing it. First thing to understand is what's happening when we emboss. Here you can see a reed plate, just some drawings that I made, and a reed sitting on top of a reed plate and the slot width there. There's a section there through the reed plate just to show you what we're going to be doing. So what happens is the reed plate slot is a little bit bigger than the reed. With various tools, ball bearings and screwdrivers, we emboss the reed by sort of deforming the edge. And here's a drawing I made just showing you that the edge is sort of burred over, and that reduces the gap between the reed and the reed slot. So reed plate profiling is a process where the corners, the edge of the reed plate is not deformed, it's kept very sharp. The way I did that was I got a graver, a V-graver, and I engrave the sides of the reed slot. I put V channels down the sides, and in doing that I can move the metal over and still maintain that knife edge on the slot itself. First thing I do is I mount the reed plate onto quite a thick block, because I'm going to be engraving the block itself, so I needed a very firm backing so that I didn't deform the reed plate. And here you can see me just putting the V in on the side. This is under a microscope. You'll never be able to do this by eye. So here is the result of the reed plate profile, and you can barely see it really from the naked eye, but if you lift it up or you went under magnification, you can see a tiny V cut just by the sides of the reed, and that's a real knife edge there on the reed plate itself. So there we are, that's reed plate profiling explained, hopefully explained, and a little bit more clearer as to my process. If you want to get to try out one of these harps and to have a look at it for yourself, you can go onto my website. I'm going to be making some up as a sort of a stock customized harp. They will be called RPP harps, which is reed plate profiled harps. If you want to try one out, just go onto my website, johncookharmonicas.com, and you can place an order, and I'll make you one up. So there you are. The benefits, just to say the benefits of this, obviously, is that it's sort of super embossed, but also because of the sharp edge, it's sort of super responsive. Really, you can get sort of overblows very easily, and you don't need to blow too hard. It's very responsive for acoustic playing. Anyway, give it a go. Obviously, the proof of the pudding is in the eating, so you need to try one out, not just take my word for it. So go onto the website and order one up, and I'll send you one down. Thanks very much.